Hey guys. All right. So we're live. Looks like ready to go. So let's talk about it. Today we're gonna cover pretty much only the 1 point perspective, and we're gonna, you know, talk about all that and what it entails. And um, the only time I'm gonna cover the difference between that 1 point perspective and the 2 point perspective is when we are. Hey Vic, what's up, buddy? But the only time I'm gonna discuss difference between the 1 and 2 and 3 point perspectives when we start discussing the 2 and the 3 later on. But yeah, today we're gonna be drawing Judge Dredd. So one of my favorite guys. I decided to go ahead and just draw him because he has a nice little science fiction kind of backdrop. So we can play with that a little bit. So without further ado, I got a couple of rulers here. So I'll usually use my right angles, a couple of triangles here. 1 point perspective. In the simple terms here, you have a horizon. Okay. So you'll have a horizon. This is just a test paper for fun. We're gonna kind of rough sketch on here, just to show you guys what's what and where. On that picture plane here, okay, you got to take in consideration that your vanishing point is going to be just one point. So where you place it, okay, makes a difference. So let's talk about that too a little bit as well. So say we'll do this. All right. And you'll see it makes sense here in a second. What I'm talking about. Don't make me confuse you yet. All right. I'm drawing 3 picture planes here. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the difference is where are you going to place your horizon? All right. In this case, we placed it really high, and then we'll put a vanishing point over here. So vanishing point. Vanishing point in perspective is where all the lines seem to disappear on the horizon. So they delineate there. So everything is going to go to that, to that 1 point, not somewhere else, just that point if you're going to stick to it. All right. There will be objects within the picture plane that, will happen to go to different perspective because, for example, some like Judge Dredd will be holding a pistol or a gun or something, and it will be turned sideways, different way. So it's going to have a 2 point perspective most likely, and will be going into a different area. Okay, but horizon in here, okay, stays the same. Okay, so horizon stays the same. Say you can also place vanishing point somewhere else on the side a little bit. Okay, and say this case right here, put it right here. So in this case, create some drama, right? It's gonna be like a, it's a really good for a cityscape to show off the, show off the city. So what's happening here? Where are we? What's kind of start drawing, all that. In this case, it's in the middle, and in this case, it's rarely used in good composition. This right here is when to consider crap. Okay, you want to put it in the middle, picture is just dead. All right, so don't do it in fine art, or if you want to make something look more interesting, don't put the horizon there. But if you think about it, a lot of times on the pinups. So if you just have a figure, you have a figure and then it's going downwards, right? So some of it will be upward, so above the horizon, some of it will be below. And usually that's considered in a single person, kind of like a figure with a gun, something. That's no background. That's the kind of a horizon usually used. Okay, when you have just a single figure standing there, posing like a pinup. This one right here, that gets a little bit more dramatic. So you have a horizon here. So if somebody's gonna be standing here, you can create some kind of background there, yeah. City, whatever it is, what is happening there, right? But everything's gonna go there this way now, right? Going to this vanishing point here. So if somebody's gonna be standing here, they're gonna be, kind of way up there, and then the long legs will be coming down. But shoulders will be kind of making the overlap the head a little bit. Hey, what's up, my friend? Hey, Nello, 11225. Hey guys. Sorry, I didn't check the chat. Sorry. So and then arm brings down, so it'll be smaller in the back here and lower. Okay. So those are the kind of things you got to consider. For dramatic effect, this is what you're gonna use in perspective. All right. So how you place your horizon is gonna determine a lot of things. All right. Let's turn this and talk about something else. So say you have your horizon determined. All right. But you need to start drawing things like blocks and buildings and stuff, right? So you have vanishing point here. There's certain ways to approach it. Yeah, what's going on? Hey, Charlie. That's one of my students. What's going on? All right. So he knows this. Taught him for a couple of years now, all this. So drawing a block and try to consider that horizon stay horizontal. So you're going to have 3 lines. You're going to have a horizontal line, vertical line, and then lines going to the vanishing point. And this is what we're going to talk about here in a second. So there you go. So I've done this. So now we need to connect these, trying to draw this building somewhat. So put a pencil on the corner here and just draw it there. There you go. I don't necessarily need this. Since the building is solid, we're not going to see that corner. So I just picked the spot where I wanted to stop the building there, then go vertical. So horizontal, vertical to the vanishing point. All right, everything has a right space. So all the windows over here on the side of the building, we just go. If you're going to draw them, they'll all go to the vanishing point. Okay. Windows here, just rectangles, right? Because they're right in front of you. It's just a rectangle. Whatever you draw at the top, you got to consider this too. Okay. Those pesky water towers and such that you got to draw in there. All right. So drawing that, and it's a lot easier in comics. You draw a bunch of lines out and give you kind of a grid. All that is helpful so you can start, mapping where you're going to have buildings. Some of them are taller. So what happens is when the building is tall, well, makes things a little easier, believe it or not. So there's this. There's the bottom of it. Goes to the vanishing point here and here. There's this is obstructed, so you don't have to draw that and just stop the building somewhere you want to vertically. All right. And then, whatever it is you need to draw here. Okay. So that's when it comes to that. Okay. All right. So let's say you have that horizon, vanishing point again, and you have a rooftop and you feel like, okay, you need this rooftop. This is another way of drawing building, okay? So I drew 2 lines out from vanishing point. Let's just continue that. All right. There. This is that. First approach is just drawing a rectangle. Second approach, starting with the lines. And then you figure out, okay, I want this right here, and I want this right here. So say this is the bottom of the building, and then I'm gonna draw some vertical line down. Say right here is gonna, the building is gonna kind of end, and it's just gonna run off the page, I guess. Okay. But what you want to do here, say you wanted to create one of those, pointed looking buildings like Chrysler Building, I guess, in New York. All right, crisscross from the center, from corner to corner to find the center. That's one way of doing this, probably the best way of doing it. Unless you want to measure this, then. But the best way to find the center of the actual surface here is crisscrossing it. So you have this middle now, and just find the vertical lines and just draw that line that way. Okay. So once you have that, all right, so you determine the height of where certain thing's going to end, which is, this pyramid. And this is going to go there, and you won't see this one since it's going to be obstructed here, right? And then you can start designing whatever it is you want to design in, taking this in consideration, of course. So you want to build some kind of levels, right? Then you're going to continue with that. Remember, the more it's pointing towards you, the less actually curved it's going to look. And then here, just go across. And then there we go. So, just give you an idea here. And then up here, you just, get that going here. And if it's just round, it's round. And then remember, it's going to curve down like this up until it hits the center and flatten out, then start curving upwards. And the more up it goes, the more curved upwards it's going to be. All right. It's kind of like the rectangle is one thing, but cylinder. So you say cylindrical building, right? You have flat here, since this is where you stand, this is where your eye level is. So your eyes will be right there. So guys standing here looking right somewhere at the building, looking at this eye level. Okay. So when you have a cylinder, this is flat. Then it starts doing this. So the building is going to be curved about like that. And then I'm going to keep going. Get rounder as it goes downwards. Okay. So you got to consider that in perspective when you're drawing cylinders anyway. Man, I got to go with the fam to go get dinner. Yeah. Enjoy your dinner. See you, Charlie. Okay. So in 1 point perspective, simply consider those little things here. Okay. Always consider that things need to go to a vanishing point if they're on the side that's actually going there. And anything in the front is going to be more or less, straightforward. If your building is going to have those, just vertical lines or whatever they're going to be. And then horizontal lines are going to stay horizontal here. But when you get here, the horizontal line is going to start going there. Doesn't matter how awkward it's going to look, it's still going to the vanishing point. All right. So this is a little quick kind of a guide chat regarding the perspective. Now let's try and turn that down. Let's try to jump into something more Judge Dreddish, right? Okay. All right. Perspective, guys. 1 point perspective. All right. Okay. So with this guy, Judge Dredd, that is, I'm going to probably put together a light. Gotta have my sip of this. Very light, which I'm using my H pencil here. Yeah. A light little grid here, and you know, figure where to place it, where to place the horizon and whatnot, and we'll go from there, right? So we know we're gonna have a figure, and Judge is gonna be kind of pulled forward a little bit here, so we can emphasize him. So I'm gonna place the horizon a bit lower. This is a nifty ruler here. I really enjoy this one. So, and since we're doing 1 point perspective, I'm just gonna go ahead and use 1 point perspective. Let's see. Let's make it interesting. Put the vanishing point over here. All right. Let's see. The camera can move a little bit differently here. All right. I'll focus to this. Okay, and then I might be able to show you a little trick with my rulers here as well in a second. All right, so doesn't matter where. Okay, where or what, you know, try to get yourself a nice amount of lines that you would need. And I'm trying here not really go all the way down to that line. I know it's going there, but what I'm doing is I'm trying not to. It's just gonna get so beat up, that spot, that if you keep placing that pencil there, it's just gonna get harder to erase later. So just creating a nice little. Just have to do on one of my pages that I was drawing. It's fun. And yes, you can honestly just do this too. So place that right where that point is. Just draw the way through, because you will need that as well. Okay, and just go like that. For me, I don't know. But sometimes I feel like I choose a little more work for myself. So there you go. Ruler is a little dirty already. And a lot of choices you're gonna have to make when you do this is, so this is a lattice here, like not lattice yet, but you know, lines going out of the vanishing point all around. Okay, so Now I need vertical lines. You know, the buildings, you're gonna have vertical lines, right? All right, but how do you stay consistent with vertical lines? That's tough, right? So there's a trick here. There's a trick to it. So I'm gonna try to pull this back a little bit so you guys can see a little better. Okay. I don't know. Hopefully you'll see this. All right. So if I know that the vanishing point is closer to the bottom, so most of the buildings can be kind of, but I'm going to try to make them some larger. So I'll place that one ruler over here right on the line at the top of the line here. And then I'll take this ruler. Okay, it has one side that's longer. All right. And so I can make sure, okay, see, right next to each other. And just going to move it down the line and just draw vertical lines. Okay. Then later on, you can continue those vertical lines if you need to. But this will ensure what? This will ensure that you have good vertical lines that actually make sense, that they actually look the right way. Like they don't deviate, go sideways. So later when you start drawing, everything's gonna look neat, clean. Ah, so I made my ruler move. Here. Can erase that later. We can just shift it over. There we go. Okay. So now I have this happening. Not how hard is it to see here, but see vertical lines. Okay. Going along with my lines out of the vanishing point. And down here, just take this and finish them up if I need to. And most of the time you do. And sometimes you don't. And it's whatever floats your boat. But either way, just flip it over. So makes sense, right? Same thing. Just line up with that line. There we go. Line up with the previous line you already made. And if it's somewhere near it, that's fine too. It's you're not gonna use them all, but you suggestion, use a H pencil, a lighter pencil, or 2H, you know, whatever, whichever one that's not too abrasive, that will be hard to erase. Okay, so there's my little lattice here. Ta-da! Gives me vertical lines. Horizontal ones, you know, would you need those? Most likely. All right. So we can do that too. Sometimes it's overdoing it. And I just push in the horizontals where I need to when I place the buildings. Once I figure those out, I know I need them there or there. I didn't even work on composition yet, more or less. Kind of skipped that step. So I haven't figured out what I'm actually going to draw yet, specifically with the city and everything. So I'm kind of going on the whim here. But I kind of knew I'm gonna have him here, kind of the figure, kind of larger, sort of over here. Pose. Let's figure out the pose. Shoulder. All right. Okay. That's Judge Dredd. So he can have a baton. He can have a gun. His gun is kind of like the classic look. His pistol, or like a big gun. I mean, his pistol is like drawn quite a bit. All right. So let's mess around with the figure here. And it gives me the wow. We're losing that focus here. All right. So I'm gonna have him hold a larger gun here. And here you have his pistol. Just an idea anyway. Gloves, of course, you know. Almost feel like more like not sure about all that yet, but since it's a lower like, you know, horizon. Just to get an idea. You know, this how I do roughs anyway. Okay. You know, I started streaming. I forgot the United States playing. Is it Paraguay or somebody tonight? Soccer. Is the NBA game even tonight? I don't know. Is that game 5 or whatever? That might be a bad choice to stream tonight then. Everybody's watching that. Okay, that's one pose anyway. This is kind of neat, I guess. Trying to see his boots. All right, it's of course be more realistic in this case, and we'll give him more muscles later too. Maybe put the leg back a little bit. We'll see. That doesn't look. That looks too far out. All right. What will the other pose here? Sideways kind of thing. Trying to think side, little side. And then a baton maybe on the other one. Trying to think of in terms of a good composition that's not too boring. Let's say not overdone too much. Yeah. So making this one. Kind of fun pose. Kind of enjoying this one a little bit. Ugh. That's on this one. It can come forward a little bit, so you can cut it off a little bit over here, I guess. You know, it can come forward, and then you can have the city in the background a bit more. Hmm. Let's see. Okay. All right, well, let's do that. It's fun. All right, so I'm gonna place him real quick and then work out. I'm just gonna place him roughly. That maybe a little too big here since he's way up there. Sorry guys, when I start thinking a little too much here, you guys gonna lose me a little bit. Up one in the center line here. Okay, make sure its chest is right. Might have I might have pulled back a little. It's emphasizing him anyway, so let's stay with it. I'm gonna put the button right there. What is this pistol? It's an interesting looking gun, so. Or trying to play with this here. Make sure you got the. This is almost flat here since it's right at the horizon. And this right here takes on a whole different perspective, since it's technically turned a certain way where the vanishing point is going to be farther down the line. So, and you kind of think of maybe 2-point perspective slightly here. So it'll be stars up here, and then I think it's, you know, red, white, and blue stuff here. And then, yeah, there's whatnot. This is belt buckle. And then a whole lot of pouches. There you go. Kind of a rough idea anyway. And then we start thinking buildings, right? So this one, I feel like this right here is a good point here. So I have that line there. And then this top of the building down there. And remember the front's horizontal, so, you know, pick that out. And kind of start playing with the, figuring out where the buildings are and where they're going. Trying to him standing on the street here. And then you can, you know, once you create the blocks where the buildings are, you can always play with how you want them to look and kind of adjust them, create a little more science fiction look to them, if that need be anyway. And for example, here in the background, you know, I'm gonna put that one of those towers, you know. So that's going there. That's going pretty much straight up here. So then create more of this openings here. Here you go. But yeah, it's gonna be there in the background or whatever. All right, this arm right here, that's way too short. So maybe like, I don't know, here. Yeah, just slightly lower. Yeah, slightly lower. Something like that. Anyway, I think it kind of works. Honestly, you know, drawing live, it's kind of crappy for me because I'll make about 10,000 decisions, change this drawing, throw away a couple of pieces. So okay, what's up, JP? Yeah, I'm trying to get this dread figured out, but I don't know. It's something. It's definitely a work in progress here. Um, trying to get a good reference for the stupid bird. Looks like this bird is literally wraps this around, and then he does this. So he's gonna cover up some of his face here. Something like right there. Man, it's gonna cover up a lot of his stuff. Put that there. Exaggerate that a little, that pad. I just know that this right here, this medallion, says dread on it. Hey, guy doing, what's going on, guy? I dig that torso. Thank you, buddy. Yes, definitely a work in progress. The pose gives the larger than life look really nice. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, JP. Yeah, yeah. It's, I feel like it's kind of thin, but yeah, I usually have them bulkier, but yeah, these paddings will help them out. You know, and that's why everything's in the rough stage anyway. So we have that glove here. Yeah, that's better. And then this here. Bicep is going to be around here. Where do I feel it? So shoulders. Yeah, about right. Anyway, constructing, you know. Okay, then. I feel like that building. Well, anytime something hits the head like that, I'm not a huge fan. This is honestly not what I envisioned for tonight either. What I had in my head was completely different perspective stuff, like the backdrop. This is a lot less intricate than what I was, you know, planning, which is okay for me. Zipper here. He always has that zipper going through the whole entire suit. Right? I was fully introduced to Judge Dredd from Stallone film. That was me. Yeah, never read the books until I don't think I even own a book. Judge Dredd. I would love to, but none. But yeah, Stallone film, definitely. It's figuring out this stuff, these little things, guys. That will give you the headache you really love to have. Not. From where I'm sitting, I don't know. It's something. Refining it comes later. And that one thing I hate about how I ended up, see, I would definitely be, if I was doing this for, I don't know, some specific like reason, say, hey, the gun needs to be visible. If if this runs off the page, it's not fully visible, so that's a problem. I'm gonna be most likely, you know, I would redo the whole thing. Like whole thing meaning the whole thing. But in this case, I'm like, no, it's fine for now. And later on, I get mad at it if we, you know, one throw it away. I'll throw it away and start over. You know, they always say shit happens. If you're not satisfied with it, throw it away, start over. Make something that looks right to you. I'm just messing with the tech here a little bit, just throwing out some fun lines to see what sticks. And it's strange, kind of prefer the construction drawing to a final. No, leave a construction drawing. All I want to do is finish it. Yeah. The construction drawing is the most fun because it can easily be changed. Yeah, definitely. And it's like you know, like the big building here and the smaller ones kind of a good counterbalance. So that's fine, and there's a lot of crap you can put in there. You really have to, honestly. Otherwise, it's just gonna look funky. Drawn through, see where that begins. Usually, I mean, Beasley drew them, and some other guys, you know, of course, everybody drawing them differently, but like, there's a lot of portrayal of him, like in the actual comic, it's kind of more lean rather than super bulky. No, no, kind of like the way the Biz drew him. Pretty neat. Trying to find a decent look to where I can find a costume. I prefer his look more classic, you know. Okay. So there will be no legs anyway, so They're not really drawn too shredded either. Okay. What I feel like I didn't do justice to this is anatomically, it's just like I should have, you know. This is why I don't know, a lot of times, if not all the time, I put in perspective after I do the figure. I don't know why. Um, like so he's here, so because I can see the figure much better without those stupid lines anyway. Um, after years of drawing, everybody has a different preference, and that's mine. So I'll have this, right? So I know what perspective I'm drawing here, so I'm gonna have a shoulder, the neck here kind of goes. There you go, the chest. Back. Making him a little bulkier. There's that, you know, chest has to go longer. And this, yeah, longer. Torso thicker. Good. So I'm thinking, guys, I can't talk while I'm doing this. See, sometimes I have to draw for a little while. This is my approach anyway. I usually do that every time. But you know, on streams I have to try to rush this thing, and sometimes it just doesn't work very well. So just stay true to ourselves here, and you know, I guess try it the right way. Okay, so see, I really like this way better than I did the other one. Just saying. Not that much when I draw either. It's a skill I just don't have yet. It's best to stay like that. I know, yeah. Natik word, yeah. It's sometimes I'm okay. Sometimes I just uh, most of the time the group stream I don't talk as much either. Just watch the film and the director producer last name was SOkoLOv. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Cool name. I should like the Carl Urban Dread film. Hey, Carl Urban did a solid job. Yeah, I have nothing against that film. I heard there might be a sequel too. And so this nuance right here in the helmet, you have to consider perspective here too. And let's just chat about it really quick. So you have the helmet. You have a helmet anyway. So it's going upwards, right? So it's already going to a vanishing point there. So we have that. So if it's some round like that, so it's round. But if the line is so side of the helmet, you know, side of the helmet is it does the X thing, then down, then back in, and then there. Okay. So what a line is stays the same thickness. See? Okay. So this stays same thickness here. But when you turn it this way, and in the start for shortening things, so when it does this, right here, all right, and it's going. So you're gonna see it come down, kind of come at you a little bit, gets thicker here, and then goes back to thinner, like disappears into thin, and then here, you know, naturally does this, right? It stays thin too here, kind of, right? You know, whatever, but gets wider and back to thinner. Just want to touch that a little bit. So with this one now, I decided let's see what we got. I'm kind of figure out that tricep here, and it's gonna have big pads here and all that. Some kind of bigger gun, you know, or some, I don't decide yet, but something like that. So you have that perspective going, and then he comes down this way. So once again, the horizon will be somewhere around here. Then you can start building the city and the perspective after that, just like we did here. Okay. But this pose right here is super boring, and torso got too thin, chest got too thin right here. This area sucks. So it's a throwaway for me. So this one's better. Has a better turn. Okay, so I don't know if the camera can show it very well here. But it has a better turn, better thickness to the torso. Let me have a better freaking look at it. Yeah. So the bird's gonna be here. There's the body of the bird here. Bottom lip is gonna be thinner. I'm not giving them the right expression right now. That's better. Somewhat. Oh, trace of sound is sinking in for me. That was good. No, sir. SOkoLOv, it's me, Grim. Hey, Grim Angel, what's going on? Okay. Okay. Alternative account. That's cool. Well, welcome here. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you being here. It's awesome. So this perspectives goes. His head. Just going up around this way. That's underneath the beak here. There's that. There's something to play with here. A lot of lines, a lot of mess, but wow, this looks weird. Hmm. It's once again turning into something I just can't agree with. I think I covered up too much stuff. Wow. Some nights I just can't draw for shit. Okay. A lot of good things here, but here, just there, bicep here, smaller tricep, and I don't know. He'll be carrying some kind of gun, I guess. Bigger hand towards us here. Okay. It takes a lot of. Hey, what's up? What's up, Dennis? Didn't mean to spit out my drink. Oh yeah, I'll say bad words here. Just be ready. JP, I'm at that age where, give less shit. So okay, then we're flipping buildings, yeah. Yeah, he said another one. Has Dread ever smiled? I don't think so. If you did, I don't know. It's maybe a Stallone did in a movie. I don't know if he ever did. He usually just worries about being the law. So it's more like it. I kind of like this sketch a little bit more. He has to have a dang chain over here, so he has to have a chain connected to here. You know, I don't know if it's even correct in this camera, but it's the rough idea. And then, start drawing the buildings. And a quick way of doing this, it's like you're doing a really, really good hatching or something. Just throw the horizon in there. Say, pick a vantage point somewhere in here. Sometimes approximate works too. Trust me. It's Close enough, sometimes close enough, you know, if it looks right, it works out. It's like you're standing on a high up balcony or some walkway. Oh. Okay. Yeah, that was enough sketching for the night, guys. Hope you all my reaction. The craziest thing hard to say is I'm not that good. Watched quite a bit these in the group stuff, so I'm not stretching to it. Just wasn't expecting to say something. Control for shit. Yeah, well, you know, not to my standards. So once I hate that and it's not going that great, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tune out. Regroup later. Okay. So, hey, you know, appreciate you guys all stopping by here, chatting with me. So it's awesome. Got to see me struggle for a couple of sketches, so there you go. Both kind of worked out differently, but yeah. All right. Anyway, at least we covered perspective, so hopefully it'll be helpful to someone. And till next one, guys. Probably not gonna be streaming for a while. I'm getting really tired of doing the streams and trying to find things to draw where I have, you know, work I need to catch up on. So most likely just be Sundays for a little while until I figure out what I'm doing with this thing. Now, good night. Hey.